end so that both of us are able to take care. So I'm using two methods together, one via the software Gokul and the other way around also. Now, he has given us the short introduction, and going forward, the main agenda for me for this particular workshop is to introduce and discuss the various intricacies as well as the subtleties which are required for the knowledge of the qualitative research. Because you see, towards the end of the session, I would definitely go ahead and showcase to you certain journals and the publication avenues wherein you can definitely proceed further, and you can very easily, I should say, publish I would say a qualitative paper. Now, a majority of the time when the young scholars approach me for the publication, I tell them write small papers. When I say small papers, around 2000 to 2500 words, you will see that it is very easy to write a qualitative research paper. Only condition is that good English. When I say good English, you can test your English language. Nowadays we have got a lot of softwares, and maybe in one of the sessions with this particular platform, I would be discussing about the various softwares which are available for various things. So we can go into that thing, and you can understand it also side by side. Now, coming to the qualitative, I would say that before quantitative could come into the picture, it was the qualitative which was more important, given the fact that almost all the schools, now when I'm talking about all the schools, whether it is pertaining to the Western domain or the Indian domain, you will see that a maximum of the people were taking care of the research papers written on the qualitative analysis. It was later on when they started counting simple things that they realized the importance of the quantitative, which we will see in the presentations which I'll be sharing it. And side by side, I have collected good, I would say I'm very good at sharing the reading or the study material pertaining to this one. And hopefully after the completion of this particular workshop, at least you would be able to understand and know what exactly is qualitative research, and why qualitative research is very important for us. And the second question which I usually see with these scholars is that they are more comfortable because of our teachers who are or the mentors or the guides who are taking care for the PhDs or the MPhils, wherein they are aware of those technical jargon terms and terminologies, and then they compel you. However, when it comes to qualitative, trust me, majority of the time I find, because of the, and I'll showcase to you maybe tomorrow. Today though, I'll be giving to you the introduction about what is qualitative research, what kind of things are involved into it, what do you mean by quantitative, what are the differences between them, what are mixed methods, and some of these things we will be taking care of it. Now, the literature, as far as we can see, they focus on number one, what I would say, after understanding, which I'm jotting down in the chat box also, after giving you the introduction about what is qualitative research, and then taking care of the differences between I would say both quali, and I'll use the shortcuts while I'm writing quali and quanti. That means qualitative and quantitative research. Then you are entering into the domain where we are introduced to what I call it as the philosophical assumptions. Now, you see, these are more important for us. Reason being, and you will see in qualitative, it is very easy that you you can work with a lot of philosophical assumptions. It's not necessary like in quantitative that you're focusing exclusively on one of the assumption. Most popularly, I don't know, majority of you, I did not ask you to introduce yourself, which I'll be doing it after my introduction and the agenda that I'll be sharing it. You will see that in majority of the areas, I find that they are focusing exclusively on the logical positivism, though I'm not going to agree with that now, because you are supposed to be given as to what are the other areas and how to approach. Though you know, in qualitative, now I'm not going to talk more about quantitative research, I'm talking about the qualitative right now. And here I see that most of the time people are, I mean, most of the individuals who are interested in the I should say the research qualitative, they either talk about phenomenological research or they are talking about ethnography. Then they might be talking about let's say focus groups. This is one more. Or you know, commonly they come up with what they call it as the grounded methods or grounded approaches. Now these are the most common ones that I find. However, these are not the only ones. You should be given the exposure to understand that yes, there are other formats also which are available, and you should be able to go ahead and adopt them and somehow implement it in your writings or in your research also. So for example, in the phenomenological school itself, there are around 48 varieties of it. Now that's a great news for us, that yes, if you are given training, and that's why you see one of the days, I think day after tomorrow, I'm just going to focus only on phenomenology and what kind of a schools are there and what it is taking place and everything. Now, given the short introduction about the philosophical assumptions and the different schools that are available in qualitative research, then I'm going to focus exclusively on interviews. Interviews again is an area which, when I keep reading, just a moment please, when I'm reading about the what do you call, the qualitative research papers which are published, I find that the interview part, just like in quantitative, you know, you do the survey or the questionnaire and you are supposed to publish them. Okay, in the same manner, you are supposed to proceed further and you know, understand the importance of interviews and the manner you're taking the interviews. And once you have taken the interviews, how you are going to do what we call it as the codes. Now, how to generate codes, now that's again a different area altogether. Now coding, codes, then coding, you can do it with the help of the what I will call it as the softwares, or you can do it manually also. Manually, if you are doing it, it is bit tedious in the sense that it might take some time for us to spend the time, number one. Number two, to do the observations. However, if you are using the I would say the software, then you know it becomes very easy. Now the question arises, why it does it become easy? For example, if you are using Atlas TI, which I really like it a lot, it helps you in generating the codes and completing the codings, each and everything. And especially, you know, they say that when you are doing the qualitative, there is no numbering, no statistics is available, or you are not able to you know, proceed further, similar to the research designs or the methodologies that we have got in quantitative analysis. Now in Atlas TI, most probably I'll be giving you an hands-on experience for this particular software, and you will see that definitely yes, there is a threshold value that is given to us, and that is being taken care in terms of correlation. Now when you get that threshold value, correlational value between the various codings, or what we call it as the coded variables, with this value that is generated, you can directly jump to your quantitative approach and you don't have to again I would say go ahead with the other techniques that you keep doing it before correlation. There is no need. Now once you have got that correlational threshold value, go ahead with regression immediately, and from regression you can go ahead with SEM, or you can even go ahead with model testings. That's what would I say. Or even I would say you can proceed further and you can compare the different what I call it as the models. So this is the interesting thing, and that's why I love qualitative analysis in that manner, because it really helps me to proceed further very easily, jump from qualitative to quantitative, and we will see how it is being taken care also. And I usually, you know, when I'm taking up I would say the this kind of workshop, I usually prefer that yes, each one of you, because it's a small group and it becomes very easy for me to focus on each one of you and try to take up the questions and help you in your own analysis. So I would say that today when I'm giving you the information regarding the qualitative research, please go back and look at your dissertations or theses or some topic wherein you would like to go ahead. Now I have already given you the introduction. Some of you who had been you know, I should say continuing the workshops with me would understand that yes, we have already got introduced to the word research questions. Now if you are able to start off yourself and set what I call it as a research question, you are welcome and you can start off with your journey with the qualitative analysis. Now I will just go ahead, and today once this particular today's session is over, maybe I'll go ahead and share with Gokul or Ayush sir the study material, and it would be shared with reading material, I would say, to each one of you. Now there are 4 to 5 books which I'm going to follow very religiously in this workshop, and I want beforehand only I'm sending those books and articles also, and I would be very happy if each one of you are able to you know, read them properly, come back and then start asking me the questions pertaining to those topics. And these books are the standard books, I would say, and one of the book it is called as the step-by-step guide to data coding using some of the softwares. And you will see that the book gives you a very good introduction to two most popular works, I would say. One is again Phenomenology, because majority of us are not aware as to how to do it, whether we are using Atlas TI, or I would say NVivo or Max QDA, or maybe in one of the session I would give you the hands-on experience on Light QDA, and that is another software which is used basically for the qualitative analysis. Given this short introduction, you know, okay, apart from phenomenology, the other one is the post-structuralism. Now, these two things are the ones that I'm going to focus upon. Other than the ethnography and all these things, why phenomenology and post-structuralism? Reason, as far as I keep reading and getting the queries from some of these scholars, I'm able to understand that it is not just the phenomenology which is more important, or ethnography. Once we give you the introduction to different schools, you will see that definitely yes, there is requirement for each one of you to get introduced to different schools so that you are able to use them for your own research work. Now given this thing, let me just share with you one of my presentations and we can proceed further very quickly. Just give me a moment, please. here I go, and I hope all of you are able to see this particular presentation of mine, which I call it as the Introduction to Qualitative Research Methods. Now, this is taken from one of the books which we call it as Methods in Qualitative Research, and I, usually share it, I would say, with some of the healthcare center. In fact, I have to tell you that yes, in majority of the schools, qualitative research, let me make it very clear to you, is more useful in healthcare research than medicine research. And very recently, when I say very recently, it means that from past 5 to 6 or 7 years, you can say that qualitative research has become more popular in management domains. Now, when I say management, topmost we have got marketing. Second, I have got HR. Then comes, I would say, supply chain and logistics. Fourth one would be operations. Then comes the other branches of like finance, commerce. In fact, nowadays I see that qualitative research, and I'll be showcasing certain papers which are more popular in finance as well as the commerce. And nowadays, whosoever is interested to go further for their doctorate, for the doctoral studies, you can just focus on qualitative research methods also, because I know that the HR, the head of the department, especially of Delhi University, he is very good towards the qualitative research, and he always recommends that yes, if somebody can do qualitative research in the management domain, it would be fantastic. Now, there are other schools also, I would say, like if you are following on big data, especially in the marketing field, you will see that neural networks, Python, these are also useful, and you can really combine them with the qualitative research and you can proceed further. Now, these are the small things that I want to showcase, and right now I'm just going to focus on the this presentation of mine and just have a look at it little bit, and then you might be able to understand as to what qualitative research methods are and how to go further into it. Now, I welcome you all into this one, and this has been prepared with the help of the book which is called as Methods in Research in Qualitative Research, kind of a thing. Now, here is the definition, and I would say a small introduction as to why qualitative research should be taken care of and why we should be able to proceed further. Now, here they have given us some important ideas as to what kind of a things can enter. So especially when you're talking about the qualitative research, it would be the systematic collection of certain data. Now, under this, it would be like taking interviews, then collection of certain documents that you have got, then the textual matter, or it can be like if you visit some of the websites of the companies or the organizations or even NGOs, so you can go in for I would say image analysis, audio analysis, video analysis you can do, and you can really come up and talk about a lot of information which is otherwise missed out in the quantitative analysis. Now, that is how I would say that this has become important in the domain of the research. So, going further, as I keep saying, when I'm talking about the philosophical assumptions, one of them is the phenomenology. The word has come up which says that it is the logical study of phenomena. Now, again, this is something which I have shared it earlier, and I'll be sharing immediately after my presentation as to what exactly do we mean by phenomena, or tomorrow or maybe day after tomorrow when I'm discussing, I'll be sharing even that information more into depth, and then we will be able to understand it. Now, when we are talking about the qualitative methods, we have to understand, because we are talking about some kind of a setting. Now, setting in the sense that, for example, you want to study group of people. Let's say it can be in a company you really want to study, or for example, I would say that I was was just sitting and I was trying to read one of the paper on the alcohol consumption for the sake of the entertainment. Then, later on I realized it that, okay, I'm focusing more on film studies. So I just wanted to know how, alcohol has been exhibited in films, like Amitabh Bachchan in the film Sharabi, or you can take Anari, where Raj Kapoor consumes alcohol and then he behaves, or even our actresses, heroines who are there, when they consume, you have seen that there are popular songs, Sahib Bibi Gulam, Mina Kumari's role, you can see it's a fantastic one. So I'm talking about the similar one, the traditional, I mean the old Sahib Bibi Gulam, as well as the contemporary one. Similarly, then after doing some of the research on that, I had to jump, and then one of my students, she told me, ma'am, haven't you seen the way the alcohol, because I was sitting in the library and on the computer I was trying to check it out. Then one of my students, she came and she said that she started talking about certain things. Then I was just wondering, because I don't consume even the basic amount of alcohol which is present in the cough syrup also. So it becomes very difficult for me to understand as to how effective it is, or what kind of things are being taken care of. So when I wanted to study, then I realized it, because I saw that my students were talking about another product of alcohol which they call it as breezer. Then I just looked, and then she was telling to me, and she is hardly 17 and a half years undergrad student, and when they started sharing their knowledge, I was amazed that yes, this is now. So I had to literally sit down and write and note down the age group of the girls between 16 to 20 from that undergrads I'm talking about. And then when I was discussing, so that is what I would call it as a setting for me when I'm doing the qualitative research. In that setting, I have to see the age, then I have to see the gender, then I'm seeing whether they belong to the urban cities or not, and if they are belonging to the urban cities, what kind of cities are they, tier 1, tier 2, tier 3, and then even if they are coming from metro cities like Delhi, then I realized it that within Delhi also there are certain localities where the upbringing or the girls' attitudes or young men's attitude, style, behavior, they all differ. So when you are doing the qualitative research, these are the things that they talk about, that is description of processes. For example, if you look studying about the toxic leadership, then definitely yes, it has to be either a corporate, it would be a multinational company, or let's say a government organization or a scientific organization. Then you have to define very clearly over there as to what kind of so you have to be literally describing it, and that's the reason they call it as description or descriptivism, which is very different from the descriptivism of the quantitative. And this is exactly what happens for us, that we need to define each and everything very clearly. Now, for example, when I visited Tirupati or Amritsar, the Golden Temple I'm talking about, then the moment I stepped, I was staying in a guest house that was for Guru Nanak Dev University, and the auto, and I see the city, though it's a very small city as compared to Delhi, and then I saw that the people, the individuals staying in Amritsar, they are so friendly that the moment I stepped out of that university, they asked me, ma'am, where do you want to go? So the moment we told them that yes, we would like to go to the Golden Temple, that's it. The moment we boarded, like it was not just me, there were other also who accompanied me to Golden Temple. The moment we got down, he said that you can get down here. The people are, what I mean to say is that they are very helpful. The moment you step outside the auto, also the Golden Temple, there is a different aura altogether. And if you are an observatory, that's number 2 that I have to tell you, that in qualitative methods you need to be a very good observer. it could be possible that in your observations, like when we are taking care of the surveys, it is possible that we miss certain things. Okay, now in the same fashion, when we are taking care of the qualitative methods or the qualitative research, you need to be a very good observer. So it is always suggested that yes, please don't when you're taking the data collection or you're doing the observation, don't just rely on only one set of observations. You need to do it at least 2, 3, 5, 6, 7 times till the time you're saturated that yes, I'm getting the repeated. What I mean to say is that why so many times, we will see, because in observations, when you're taking care of it, there are certain patterns which are being formed. So till the time you are able to observe those patterns, you need to continue with them. And now that is where the importance of interviews would be coming in, and we will see as to how. And this is something you will not get in any of the books. However, when you are literally in the field, and that is also an agenda wherein I'll be showcasing to you how to take the notes, how to take the interviews, those templates, those things are available, and you need to supposed to fill it up once you have observed. And then while you're filling up, if you will see the gap that you're unable to fill, that means you have not done your job carefully. So observer also has got some kind of an assignment, and then you will need to proceed further. So the description of processes, mechanisms. Now here, when I'm talking about mechanisms, it is basically on your kind of interviews. Now interviews which you take for phenomenology is very different, descriptivism is different. Now another school is there which we call it as interpretivism, that is very different. So you will see that each and every school has got a different mechanism, and you need to, like for example, the research designs. So we have got the research designs even in qualitative method research also side by side. Setting, I have told you, for example, you're conducting an interview. Okay, let's say with a bank manager, what do? You have to create that setting with that thought process. You will be going that yes, today at so and so date. Remember, when you are doing the observation, first and foremost, a notebook has to be dedicated for you, because you cannot carry your laptop or your cell phone so that the other person is not being comfortable. So you will have to carry a notebook, or even if you're not carrying, make it a case that you are remembering, and when you come back, you're supposed to make the notes either on your computer, open up Excel sheet and start coding. Otherwise, when I introduce you to the software, you can start coding on a daily basis also side by side. So you create that kind of a setting wherein you know that yes, I'm going to do this thing, and the agenda is prepared. Now what kind of a questions are you taking care? Are you going to ask all the questions in one time only, or you will have to do repeated, or let's say some more visits to that place? For example, in agricultural field, now I see that in one go, if you're talking to a farmer, they will not give it to you the entire, or similarly I find that one of the persons saying that when I'm in the village, it becomes very difficult for me to talk, to converse. So obviously you have to create a rapport building environment. All those things are part of your settings, and you are supposed to even. So for example, if you are going to note this thing, the funniest part, or I would say the best part of the qualitative research is that whenever you're making note of something, you can convert that immediately into a case study of yours, or depending upon the school, you can write down and you can publish it immediately, because whatever data you're collecting, it is you who have collected it. So you are aware of the process, you're aware, or you can describe it very well. Okay, and the mechanisms and the settings also. Now for example, if I start talking to you, obviously while conversing with you, I'll be able to know whether you have done your research in an authentic manner or not. Reason, if you have not done, then what will happen? There would be gaps. Now through that gaps, I'll understand that you have not done your observations properly. So that is where we need to understand. Then comes characterize participant perspectives and the experiences. Now here when I'll be talking about tomorrow about the observations, participants, and how the interviews have to be collected. At that time, you will have to understand that yes, perspectives are very, very different. For example, if I'm doing a research work on some food industry. Now, if I go to the village to understand, and I'm sitting in front of a very senior citizen woman, and I'm collecting the data information, do you think that she will be able to giving it to me immediately? In some cases it is not. In the other cases, when you are traveling from one part of the city to the other part, let's say in the local buses, or when you're traveling between two different cities, let's say from Delhi to Amritsar or Delhi to Jaipur, the person who is sitting next to you, would be prompted to talk to you, to start off the discussions immediately, and a natural flow of conversations take place. However, if you are serious with the qualitative research, those conversations turn out to be your stories, and those stories can be wonderfully documented. For example, I keep on sharing it with everybody wherever I'm giving the lecture, that especially with the migration cases, then you can talk about terrorism, then you can talk about displacement, dislocation cases. Now, for example, my mother and father, like I'm a South Indian. Now, my father is from Karnataka and my mother is from Andhra Pradesh. The moment both of them got married to each other, they have to shift from Andhra to Delhi. Now, the moment they came over to Delhi, they had a tough time. Reason here, everybody was speaking Hindi language, and both of them had a tough time. Though my father was easily able to adjust to that environment, however, it took some time for my mother. So you will see those differences which are coming in. So I'm talking about, so nowadays when I am interacting with my mother and she shares her stories with me and she starts laughing, I'm able to understand. Now, similarly, like my maid, she is from Bangladesh, a very young lady. One day she even got her mother, because I had to give them a sari for Eid, and she was very excited, so she came over to my place. So while I was talking to her, she started crying. So I didn't understand what made her cry, because I was talking to her in a very positive manner. So the moment then she said that I am able to remember my days at Bangladesh and what had happened with her when the war was going on. So those times were very nostalgic for them, and when they go back to the past, it becomes very difficult for them. So we call them as dislocated people. That means they are remembering the past and then they're coming in. Similarly, let's say people coming from Bihar to Delhi, for working cases, or they are moving from Rajasthan to Delhi or from Ahmedabad. You will see, and even the tribal people, especially because I keep doing some research with the Jharkhand tribals, so I can share it, that particular incidents, that yes, when we were talking about them, and when we introduced them to work in Delhi as maids, especially after giving them the training how to be an educated ayah, so that they are working for some foreign diplomats, expertites I'm talking about. So they wanted educated housekeeping individuals. So we had to train them. So while we were asking them to shift or make a move from a sari or a lehenga to short skirt, or the knee length skirt and a full sleeve shirt, you can see the difficulty. Or if we ask them, you have to make your hair in this manner, now you have to be a little bit professional, you should know how to handle cell phone, you can see the difficulties which they are facing. Now those are the experiences. If you are very observant, you are focusing and giving attention to their stories, you are able to jot down them very properly. Similarly is the partition cases. Same goes when in Kashmir, when there was this war between Kashmiri Hindus and Muslims, you will see that majority of the Hindus who are settled in Delhi, when you're interacting with them, it's a very nostalgic moment that they have to go back into into the past, remember all those things, and then they have to come back to the present. So that shift which is taking place, going past and then coming back to the present, you know, is ultimately another experience. And when you're writing those things, again, there is a knack in which you have to question them. That means taking interview, and then you will see whether they, in what manner they are going to be structured, whether they are fully structured, partially structured, semi-structured. You know, you will see all those things coming in the qualitative research. Now, apart from that, you can even see that yes, some of the things are there when you are talking about qualitative research. For example, in quantitative, you have to do what we call it as ROL. Then you're taking care of objectives. Then you go ahead, you know, generate the hypotheses after the preparation of the questionnaire, translation of it. Then you come with the hypotheses. Then you go ahead, select a technique or a test. Then you use a software. And so, does those things take place even in qualitative research also? The answer is yes. So, you know, you can go ahead, you can, I mean, there are a number of ways in which you can do. You can do it in the same fashion, you know, after doing ROL. When I say ROL, review of literature, you create the hypotheses, you identify the missing gaps within the qualitative research papers. Though I would not advise you to do it, because majority of the time when you are taking up those papers, you have to be very careful whether the person has done it in a very proper manner or not. If they have done, now I'll be showcasing to you how to identify those things also in a paper, whether it is a genuine qualitative research paper or not. That also you can check it out. On one side, you have got that as the process. That's why the word hypothesis has come in, or what we call it as the thematic content analysis, thematic analysis. And you will see that there are a lot of things which are coming in, and that becomes a different kind of a field altogether. So given these two trends, you know, I need to give you the exposure to both of them, and then you need to carry forward. Survey instrument measures for every school of qualitative research. There is a different instrument, a different technique is available, and you need to follow it properly. And the books are available. Some literature is also available. When I say books and literature, I'm not talking about the popular research papers. However, some schools which are dedicatedly are taking care in the professional environments, those would be given to you. And that's why the word taxonomies have come in, and we will be taking care. Now, when I say taxonomy, for example, qualitative research in, let's say, hospitals. Now, when let's say if I'm a patient, I know the doctor is going to visit, and you will see, I'm sure each one of you must have got this experience, that when a doctor enters or you are approaching a doctor, there is a kind of rapport building with the doctor. Doctor questions you sometimes with your disease, or he's sharing some kind of a story, makes you comfortable, and then he's asking you certain questions. Now, you see, when you, this is the manner or the style or the approach, I can say, in which they are taking care. So a senior doctor, patient, nurse, patient. So there are those different approaches wherein we call them as descriptive approaches, and we will see the similar kind of approaches have been adopted even now in different domains of knowledge like management, law, journalism, mass communication, film studies. You know, you can carry forward finance, commerce, accountancy, definitely yes, audit teams. Now, audit also, if you remember, the manner in which the auditor keeps questioning you while looking. Now, try to understand their approach. If you have seen it very carefully, they have the files in front of them. They are opening, they are scanning those files. However, side by side, they're talking to you. So there is those two-way or three-way approach is also available. Now, the popular study that nowadays, which I'm focusing on, is Sushant Rajput's case. Now, you will see that on a daily basis, Arnab Goswami and the other channels which are there, you can look at them, especially the way they are talking about, now, the way the CBI is taking care, so that they are able to understand and see how the things are taking place. So, why the questioning method? Why they haven't approached some other method? method. So the forensic team, when they are going ahead, they are doing a different method, entirely a very different case. In the same manner, the taxonomies that we are talking about are the different schools and the approaches. Let's see how many schools I'm able to complete for all of us for this particular workshop, and then we can proceed further also side by side. Then we have got the conceptual models or the theories. Now this is one more question, though I'm not going to touch upon this topic, similar to our quantitative research. Now, the question arises, when we are doing the research, is it necessary to have the theoretical model or the conceptual model? I would say, and there are certain studies, for example, if you are doing an inferential causal studies are there, for them it is very much mandatory. So, when you know that, yes, your research question is based upon the inferential study or the causal study, at that time you need to introduce the theoretical model as well as the conceptual model, so that you are able to go further and then study in qualitative manner also. It is highly possible that, yes, through the qualitative approach, when you are doing the research, the entire conceptual model might change. And I'm telling you very honestly, now that is where your contribution would be coming in for your research work. So, conceptual models, your theoretical models becomes very, very important in the qualitative, and trust me that, yes, you can proceed further and you can really go ahead and publish them separately as a full-fledged paper for yourself also side by side. And that paper itself can be used for the next paper, wherein it is not only that you're citing your own paper, however, you have generated a new thought and you're contributing to the society, because through the qualitative, you are interacting with the society and you have seen the gap or the missing link, and you're adding something to your own research. Now, when we come to the qualitative, we always know that we are not talking about the numbers. We're talking about descriptions. We're talking about the categories. What categories are and what is the importance of it, that I'll be sharing it tomorrow, not today. Today my agenda is to give you the introduction to the qualitative research itself and discuss about certain topics which are present to us. So we will see majority of the time, and here when we are talking about the qualitative, now as per Brown and Clark, they said that it is like organizing frameworks. So we can see how the frameworks are being generated and how to utilize them. Now, this particular slide, I would say, gives you the differences between qualitative and quantitative, and understand, how the mixed approach is coming in. Under the qualitative, you can see that the approach is inductive. We don't use the deductive. Now, when I say deductive, again, this is another part of the discussion. Here, it means that you are going ahead and using more of logistic positivism in your approach, and certain rules and regulations are there which helps you out. Whereas in qualitative, there are no rules and regulations. However, it is the observations that you are looking forward, and through those observations you are able to induct certain things, and we will see later on when we get a hands-on experience, and as a homework when I give it to you, you can definitely go ahead and start taking care of it. Now, the goal will be like depth, local meanings, generate hypotheses. Which one? This is under the qualitative. Whereas in quantitative, it is more of the breadth. Number one, generalization, test the hypothesis. Whereas in here, as I told you, you are generating the hypothesis. Remember, because you are observing something that is taking place actually in the society, in the community. You are able to see that, yes, this is taking place, or this is affecting, or this is the cause for that particular effect. Now you are able to understand and make it a point, come back, and you are writing down in your notebooks, and then you are creating those hypotheses. Okay, now setting is very natural because it is taking place in the society or the community. Now sampling would be something purposeful, that in the sense that it is really going to be useful for you. And that's why if you are doing some agricultural studies, I'm sure you will not do in a metro city. You would like to go to a village where the farmers are there and whose main job is to do the farming basically. Now data would be words, images, narrow but rich one. So when my students go into the field, we will see the field work. We tell them, click as many photographs as possible through your cell phone. So when they are taking interviews with the farmers, they always say, let's have a selfie, so that they are making them comfortable. They are also feeling very happy when they are taking the selfie. Though that selfie, you are labeling it as selfie, however that selfie is going to be useful for your studies. So when you are doing the qualitative analysis, photographs also play a very major role. Through the photographs, you are able to analyze a lot of things. So the images, the words, text, I would say the document, sometimes even the audio recordings when you're talking, even a laugh by a farmer, you can understand through that audio transcription, when that laugh is heard, whether it is sarcasm or it was a simple, pure, natural laugh, like if you watch Sadhguruji. Now, if I'm making, let's say, I'm giving you an example. Nowadays, I'm focusing because I'm at home. I'm looking at 5 important models of the gurus, spiritual gurus who are part of our Facebook. I see Sadhguruji actively present over there. I'm seeing Shivani Di from Brahma Kumaris is present over there. Sri Ravi Shankaracharya is present there. His Holiness Dalai Lama Ji is there. I can see that. Similarly, there are other spiritual gurus like Ramakrishna Mission. You can see how ISKCON is another one. Then Jagannath Puri is another one. So, Mathura, Vrindavan. So, as many models as you have got. So when I'm observing the Facebook, because I'm very good at observation, I'm trained for that, I'm able to deduce lot of things which are available. When I see Sadhguruji laughing, I can understand immediately whether it is a natural laugh or it is his artificial laugh. So you can deduce a lot of things which you can take care. So that is how the data would be able to help you out. Data analysis, it is iterative interpretation, in the sense sometimes it is directly interpreted. For example, when I see Sadhguruji laughing, I know he's laughing in a very natural manner, so that's fine. However, if he is giving me laughing, he's laughing, however I am interpreting it as an artificial, you will be calling it as interpretation. So you are able to understand and then proceed further to see the different gurus in your own models. And then, for example, let's say this one, what's his name, the one whose work is there, this one, Sushant Rajput. Now even if you pick up his movies, Dil Bichara or Kedarnath or the other movies like Drive, his each movie can be a model for us. Then you have to understand Sushant Rajput in this movie, Sushant Rajput in the other movie, or as an MS Dhoni. You are able to come up with various models for the films. I'm doing it, that's why I'm able to talk about all these things and tell you that yes, this is how you are able to understand it. Values would be personal involvement. Now here again, like I told you at one of the examples, like I don't drink, I don't consume alcohol at all. My parents have never allowed me to even drink cough syrup, which has some amount of alcohol in it, and they were so strict. They said that our daughter will not. So because they had certain spiritual values, and they made it sure that I am not taking. So the personal involvement is there. However, when I was trying to work out with the product on breezer that I was talking about, I literally had to take the interview with the students who were the direct involved individuals for me. However, my personal, I could not consume it. So that is the difference that you need to understand out here, and partiality. Now, sometimes biasness is always there. For example, if you ask me, Ramani ma'am, let's go ahead and do a qualitative study as to who is a better heroine, Deepika Padukone or let's say Anushka. I'm just taking an example. Now, I would say that I like Deepika as compared to Anushka. So already I have shown the biasness. The other person says, okay, you are, however, I love Anushka. So she has shown. So there might be a third person who will say, oh, wow, both of them. I love both of them. So I can see this person can be much more useful for us. So, you know, we introduce her also in the research so that we are able to be on a proper scale together. So we are talking about subjectivity, reflexivity, all those things are also available. Now, quantitative, I'm not going to talk much because we are aware of it a lot, some of it. So you will be finding it out that yes, you can see in the case of the values, here it is personal involvement, whereas in quantitative it is detachment, and you are taking or involving a special class of people from whom you get the input in the form of the questionnaire, the statements and the responses are being given. In that manner, they turn out to be objectivity for us, whereas here in qualitative, it is purely subjective in the sense that it's me who is going to do the research and I proceed further accordingly. So that is one way in which you are able to understand it. Then this is another one wherein you can talk about that in you know, in quantitative especially, we do not get the answer. It is basically the objectivity, and we say that okay, the entire thing continuously goes one after the other, so there is no full stop for the research. Is that so in qualitative research? And the answer, you will say that yes, it depends upon the person who's taking the interview. And let's say I'm not going, I'm sending my students in different directions, and let's say I'm doing a research on street food, you know, so I send them to different colonies and I tell them, okay, you go here. Like for example, when I went to Ambala, I asked them what is the most popular dish, street food of Ambala. Now, surprisingly, you know, there were a lot of students, and each one of them, they stood up. One of them said, "Ma'am, you should go to," because it's Punjab, and in Punjab they are talking more about the sectors there rather than the colonies. And then they said, "Ma'am, you should go to this sector. You will find this food very good. If you go to this sector, it's very good. You go to this sector, this is the major food." So I told them, okay, each one of you go prepare a nice movie with your own cell phone. Come back and showcase to me. So I'm not directly involved. I'm asking the other students to bring those stories to me and share it with me. So you will see that telling the story about many could be told about the data. Now, for example, when I went to Kurukshetra, I was, in the evening, I was free from the workshop. So I told them, because I have this habit that every Sunday I'm supposed to eat golgappas. I'm very fond of golgappas and momos also. So, I was missing. It was almost sixth day of mine, I think, at Kurukshetra. And I myself was feeling, and I said that I want to eat golgappas. So I asked them, what is the most popular street food? So I thought they might say golgappa, and then I can go ahead with them and, really consume those pani puri. Then luckily, none of them could answer. And I said, what happened? Okay, then they were at least 12 of the individuals, and they're all the college scholars, PhD scholars. So I asked the first one, okay, what is the popular street food? Can you believe the answer that I got is, what is street food? I just looked at them. So it means that immediately I could observe and understand that in Kurukshetra, street food is not very common. Okay, that was my first induction inference that I could make. I asked the second person. Second person gave me the answer that, ma'am, you go anywhere in Kurukshetra, you will not find it more because this is a holy city. I said, okay, fine. So I said, okay, let's go out then. Let's see what we can take care. And trust me, we entered into one of the malls, and luckily I could see the Bombay Bholpuri wala, and I said, okay, let me have this at least. And it was 50 rupees cost, and he gave me a huge plate of bhelpuri. Then that plate was such a big one that I could not consume all by myself. So I asked the vendor, give me some more spoons, and I asked everybody to take. And surprisingly, I could realize it later on that none of them would like to eat the street food. So I came to understand that in Kurukshetra, street food is not very popular as it is present in Delhi. I stay in Delhi, so obviously in Delhi, pani puri, bhel puri, and all these things are very popular in the evenings or butta. However, certain things are not available. So I understood immediately. So the moment I started observing, I came back to my room in the night and I started writing down. Ultimately, because I keep visiting Kurukshetra a lot, I realized it at the end of the year that I came up with around 368 case studies. And case studies are a very popular method in qualitative research, and case studies, because again, I'm a trained person for the case studies. We have got case studies which are really long ones. Then there are case studies which are really short ones, let's say for 100 words to 500 words. So, once I know these things, I was very happy. So, why I'm telling you all these things is that stories are part of the qualitative research. So if you are very good with your English, and I would say even in Hindi, there's nothing wrong. There are certain journals which do publish, and you are supposed to understand the importance of these things, and you can take care of it. Now, doesn't mean that the story is fictional. Now, you see, if you are a very good observer, trust me, you cannot be a fictional writer at all. You will be giving me the stories which are taking place in reality. For example, if I'm standing in front of a person, the way the person looks at me, it's itself, because I'm a female, and let's say the opposite person is a male. We all know that how a man looks at a woman. So those things also, you cannot make it as a fictional one because you are experiencing it, so you are able to pen down. So the data that you're collecting, it will be authentic one, and it will not be fictional, because if it is fictional, immediately you can catch hold of it and you can realize it that the results that you're looking for will not be coming in. Truth can be compelling without claiming to be absolute truth. Now, this is again, there is the concept of truth which comes in, whether it is an absolute one, absolute in the sense, is it reality for you, or there is certain thing which we call it as only appearance. So truth and appearance, truth and reality, in that manner you can see it in qualitative studies more and more. Now this one again tells you that the context where we are really important. For example, you can see in my conversations, when I'm giving you the example, I said when I visited Ambala, I met the students of Ambala. So I'm not saying students of Delhi or students of Madras or students from Mumbai. I'm making it very clear. Now these are the context. The moment I start reading a qualitative paper as a reviewer, I will come to know immediately whether the person is lying to you just for the heck of publishing the paper it was given to us or not. So in this way you are able to understand and then proceed further. Now this is a very important one. I'll be telling you what are these are nothing but the philosophical assumptions that we have got. For example, ontology, epistemology, relativism, critical realism, interpretivism, descriptivism, and you will see later on the different schools that are present and how they are different and very very and important to your qualitative study. So if you're writing a paper, let's say you're talking about a breezer consumption amongst the age group of let's say 17 to 21 years in the girls colleges of Delhi. When I'm making it, I'm giving you exactly dash I'll be writing, and then I would say it is the qualitative, I mean phenomenological or epistemological or critical realistic study. You know, the moment I use these words, whether it is ontological or epistemological, and you will know how these words are being used, what these words are. You need to have a little bit of patience. Just take it with a pinch of salt right now and get used to these vocabulary. I'll be explaining to you later on about these terminologies also. Now we can go ahead and you can see as to which one is more important to us. Now this is taken the quote from Silverman, David Silverman. David Silverman has written quite a lot of books on qualitative research, which I'm going to share. 3 of his books, definitely I'm going to share it with each one of you, and you should give some time to read these books whenever you get. I'm not asking you to read all the literature that I'm sharing it today with all of you, that completed today itself. However, be very honest, if you are interested in qualitative research, you are supposed to read them also. For example, from this book I have taken these words. He says, I have lost count of the run of the mill qualitative research papers I have come across which find it necessary to define their work in terms of obscure philosophical positions. Now you see, even each one of you, if I take back to this particular slide, and if I ask you, can you tell me what do you mean by ontology or epistemology, relativism, interpretivism, or phenomenology, you will be a little bit uncomfortable. Reason, you haven't read about them at all. You know, it's just that when you pick up some book, let's say some finance book or some kind of accountancy book wherein they're talking about normative theories, deontological theories, prescriptive theories, descriptive theory, then you are able to understand ki, okay, there is this kind of what do you call the terminologies or terms which are available. However, are you really reading that? And this is the exercises when students or the scholars come to me and they ask me, ma'am, can you just give us introduction to or take a workshop on qualitative research? I make it sure that yes, you are getting a hands-on experience or some kind of an understanding to know what these terminologies are. So here he's talking about, and he says that these are obscure philosophical positions that are available. In my view, you do not need to understand these terms in order to carry out good qualitative research. Now, why I've highlighted, if you do not know, how are you going to use them in your writings? Now, indeed, if you try to understand them, my guess is that you will not emerge from library for many years, which I said, you have to read a lot of books. And that is the reason why many teachers, they ask the students, are you sure that you want to go for your higher studies? Because higher studies means on a daily basis, you should be able to complete at least 5 books. I'm talking about 5 books. I'm not talking about 5 research papers. Now that's the speed with which you have to read, and you have to spend time in the libraries so that you are aware of these things. If you have a simple approach that is working well for you, don't try to dress up your work in fancy terms. What does this mean? It means that if you do not understand them, please don't. And that is the reason when I see the collection of the theses, individuals are not using the words like ontological studies, epistemological studies, ethnographical studies. If it is ethnographical, what kind of ethnography are you using? There are so many theories are there, like frameworks you have got. For example, you have got SWOTs, and then you have got SWOT analysis, then you have got 5 Potter's principle, then you have forces, then you have got Upasala. Then how those frameworks are there. Why can't you learn even these things also? So that is where we are contributing ourselves in these workshops, and you are learning them. Now here is another way, what kind of a data is there and how do you go ahead. As I told you, you are the person who really needs it. Now, as you do or perform a qualitative research, you will be introduced to quite a lot of data. For example, when I was studying, I got the data from the films, alcohol consumption in films. Now, when I was watching the films, I could see heroes. So the gender classification is there, age classification is there, then demographic things are present for me. Then I can see, apart from all these things, who the cultural impact of it, how it is taking care of it. Let's say in North India, what kind of a thing, in South India, what kind of a thing is taking place with alcoholism. So how the things are carrying on, the more you enter, the data would be coming in more and more to you. For example, when I did this study on breezer consumption amongst the girls aged let's say 17 to 22 years in, let's say, Kamla Nehru College. Then I wanted to see girls in Miranda House, girls in Daulat Ram College, girls in Indraprastha College. So, I'm moving from one college to another college in girls, number one. Then I have to see if it is a co-ed college, what kind of things were taking place, because there are both men and girls were there. So what was the impact on them? So now you will understand that the production of the data, when we're talking about, is by what we get participants to do. So it's, you are just a subject and you are collecting a lot of it. Coming back home, your memory should be able to help you out, or at the same spot you should be able to jot down immediately. Selection of the data, for example, main motto in academics is publishing books, attending seminar or conferences, or I can say in projects, funded projects or non-funded projects, some report generation for the college or for yourself, or coming up and doing some kind of a research work for the community. Now, when you are doing it, from the existing materials, for me, the existing materials were films. Then I was scanning it from 1935 onwards, and to see partition time, what was the case for the consumption, what happened later on in 1950s, then 1960s, then 1970s, then within, from different states of India, how it was taking place. So these are all called as the existing materials, similar to the one that you are taking care, especially coming from the what do you call this, finance departments, when they say that we are collecting the data for the various years. So it can be from different years, or from past 5 years or 10 years, you can carry forward. Rich and shallow data, this is very important. Rich data is the authentic data. You are not manipulating, you are not generating it all by itself. You are really getting it. Now, if you look at my own computer, trust me, I can show you that for a film, if I have to take away the screenshot, I get more than 5,000 screenshots from a single movie. So I have to be very carefully saving those screenshots, number one, and I have to study all the 5,000 screenshots of that image, and then understand certain things if I have to do the data analysis for my own qualitative research. Now, most important issue is that data serves the purpose of the research, which is quite obvious in both qualitative and quantitative. Now, I have explained to you what subjectivity is. And remember, now let's go ahead with the reflexivity. Now, here you will see that, it is nothing but you have got the data in front of you. Now, you are trying to, let's say, observe them. There would be a process of critical reflection on the knowledge. For example, as I said, you should, for example, this picture is there. You are observing the picture which is present on the left-hand side. Let's say immediately the moment this slide was showcased to you, then you're thinking, okay, it's a photograph in which this particular bird is there. Then the photograph has clicked it in such a manner that you can see the mirror or the mirror image of the bird, not captured in a very nice manner. However, if you have to make a knowledge creativity with it, then can see it very carefully, that if you will be observing, then certain things would be flashed out to you. Now those flashings are the ones that would be necessary for your output in the qualitative research. Now that would be coming in, for example, this particular photograph only. The first time you watch, you may not get it. Second time you watch, you might get something. Third time you watch, there would be some addition more. So finally, you will see that certain kind of patterns, trends, designs would be coming in, and then you are able to see, oh God, I didn't like the color of this one. Now, for example, the blue color in the original one is different, whereas in the image, it looks more like a grayish color. So if your eyes are tuned for those observations, you can make the critical reflections and then create a new knowledge for yourself. Now, this reflexivity, we call them in two ways. One, which is functional for us, and the second one would be the personal one. When we talk about the functional reflexivity, it means that you are, now for example, when I went to Kurukshetra, I was surprised. I was in a conversation with that person and I asked him, can you tell me the most popular street food of Kurukshetra? In return, I got the answer, what do you mean by street food? Now you tell me, a person who is questioning me in return, and I got a shock of my life, which means that the person doesn't know what street food is. That means that entire city is devoid of street food, or it could be possible that from their household, they don't eat anything outside, therefore that person is not aware. So when I'm starting doing this kind of a thing, critical attention would be coming in. That means that tomorrow, if I have to open a kitchen, let's say a restaurant in Kurukshetra, it will not be a successful venture. So, I understood this problem was existing. And as a student of management, I started, especially for the marketing, I said, no, this cannot be possible. How can it be possible? Then I started doing my qualitative research. I understood that if it is a homemade, then people of Kurukshetra will consume that food. If it is not homemade, they will not eat. Now that is the culture. So it means that tomorrow, if I open a restaurant and I put up outside the board Sattvic homemade food, then and also prepared by the lady in front of the customers, I'm sure the hotel would be running successfully. Now you understood the process in which I observed, I interacted, I got the response, I saw the missing gap in that, then I understood, okay, so that is called as critical attention. One more example, I can give it to you. Here in my society, on a daily basis, I see that individuals are walking early in the morning. This is pandemic time, right? Everybody, most of them keeping the social distance, they are walking. Then I thought that everybody, they have made this announcement that whosoever is above 50, they should take care of their health and they should consume healthy food. Then I understood that juices are the healthy food. Now in my area, I don't find much of juices. So we decided there are around 54 towers are there. So every tower, outside that tower, we can come up and we can keep, every household has a mixie or the food processor or a juicer. So, why we cannot go ahead and sponsor juices. So every tower, now we can see that, yes, there is a lady with a juicer, and whosoever is going for a morning walk, they can consume the juices. It can be let's say spinach juice, it can be coriander, mint, tomato, aloe vera, karela juice, whatever. The choice is ours. So the critical attention plays a lot of role. So this is how the qualitative research really helps you to understand certain things, and you can proceed further also side by side. Now under personal reflexivity, it is that researcher is visible. Like for example, the examples that I was giving it to you, I myself was involved into it. Okay, so when I'm talking about, I'm giving away those entrepreneurial ventures through my research work. So I have become, and that is what we call it as the personal reflexivity. So I hope tomorrow, if, like for example, I have given this particular case, I can prepare a nice case study and I can write it down: juices for senior citizens dash personal reflexivity. Simple. The moment you will be reading the words personal reflexivity, you have understood that it is a qualitative paper. It means that the researcher himself or herself is involved into it, and then the entire story has to be written without any gimmicks into it. When I say gimmicks, no artificiality. So when you're reading, for example, when I'm sharing the story, you have understood the authenticity, the genuinity, because of my personal experience. If I tell you an artificial, like the movies that we watch, we know that in reality, hero heroines who are falling in love, they don't run behind the trees like with a song or something. Okay, so that is what we call it as artificiality. So if I'm writing a story, I'm able to make these kind of a things also clearly understandable. So I hope I have made this one very clear, and one of us or some of us, in fact all 13 of you who are present, you can write small case studies on using functional reflexivity as a tool, and you can even use personal or functional or personal reflexivity, and you can proceed further for your studies. Now after this we have got exercise. Now this is I keep doing it now as I have given to you already, so you can proceed further tomorrow or via mail. Majority of you have got my mail ID, otherwise I can share it with each one of you. I think each one of you should be able to come up and write a functional one or a reflexivity one for me and showcase to a small, let's say small means 1500 means what, 305 paragraphs you have to write, or even if you're making it 500 words in each paragraph, 3 paragraphs you have to write, and you can showcase it in a form of a story for me and we can share it. Now how to go ahead with planning and designing. Now I don't know, I'm continuously taking it up. Just give me a moment. I can see it is 7:22. Can we all take 5 minutes break, all of us, and then I will proceed further from here. 7:22 and 5 means 7:27. I will be back. Then we can start off immediately. Okay, so Gokul, all of you just know that yes, I'll be back in 5 minutes again.
Sure, ma'am. Hello, everybody. In the meanwhile, I'd like the opportunity to ask each one of you about how do you like, are you like following, or do you like this proceeding? Do you like this workshop as it is proceeding? Please, any one of you, please unmute yourself and please tell how do you like this workshop? Is anyone there? Hello. I'll take this opportunity to have a feedback from every one of you. Please, if you can unmute yourself and tell how do you like this proceeding till now at least.
Okay, hi. I hope all of you are back now, and let's proceed further with this one again and try to understand as to how the things are taking up and to understand. Now, when I'm talking about planning and designing, I would be discussing with you on before I can start off with the different schools as to how we go ahead and definitely focus on the research designing or planning about the qualitative research in itself. itself. So when I'll be talking about the designs, like in quantitative also we have got research design. Here also you will see that we have got a complete picture in front of us as to what are the different designs and how to approach and take the appropriate. Now again, this kind of a thing very few individuals are aware of. They will start off with directly with the phenomenology or ethnography grounded theories or focus groups without helping you to understand that yes, as I keep telling you again and again, that there is this timeline wherein you are first of all starting off with a research question, then you definitely choose your philosophical assumption as to which one should I take it up, and then you proceed further with the research designs, trying to understand what would be the sample size for you for your own qualitative research, whether you should include the sample size or sample size is not required. All these things are I would say subtleties which are available in qualitative research also. And in the contemporary times, when I say contemporary times, in past 2 years I'm seeing that serious attempts are being made towards this kind of qualitative research also. So first and foremost, always remember we are not talking about the objectives of the qualitative research out here. First and foremost, if you have to start off with a good qualitative research, that means that you should have a good research question. If somebody comes ahead and tells you, okay, you tell me what is your objective, try to understand that that person is focusing more on quantitative rather than on the qualitative side. In qualitative, we are focusing more on the well-formed question rather than the objectives, whether they are there or not, we will see later on once I enter into that part of it. Apart from these things also, you can see that conceptualizing a research question is very important for us, and that's why I say again, whether the student is moving towards the quantitative or qualitative, irrespective of that, I ask the person, show me what you have got in front of you. Do you have any kind of a picture in front of you? Do you have a paragraph with you in the form of an abstract or a summary, or do you have a nice diagram in front of you wherein I can understand what exactly is your thing? So immediately I see that my students pick up a pen or a pencil, and in the notebook they draw the diagram. Then I've understood that they have got a very clear conceptualizing project in front of them. Now that's how I pick up my students for the further research work, and then they are selected for the further studies. Now first and foremost, in qualitative research, remember inductive, exploratory. Now here when I say exploratory, you will see again, hopefully tomorrow I'll show you as to how the exploratory studies in qualitative research and quantitative differs from each other. I would rather say it is not the difference, however the connectivity is present. From the qualitative exploratory, you have created certain things and you're jumping into the exploratory analysis or exploratory studies with the help of the quantitative. We will see that one and how to proceed with that. However, doing the explorations around the society is very, very important. And I do remember when I had written a lot of papers and I was showcasing to one of the HODs of very prominent institute in Delhi, another faculty who was present, they started sarcastically passing comments upon me and saying that ye bhi koi analysis hai. I just looked, and I really wanted to tell them that if you are not aware of it, that does not mean the person standing opposite to you also is not aware of. And we will see how to do those explorations, and especially if you're coming from the from the management domain, then definitely not just the management, I would say these things that you have got, the framework, the conceptual models that you have got, it can be popularized across the domains and you can use them. Frame as a question or an aim Okay, and I would keep objective in brackets, no hypotheses to test. So now your question can be, does that mean that in qualitative research there is no hypotheses to be tested? That's a big question mark for us, and we need to understand. However, we are right now at the planning and the designing phase of the qualitative research. Remember that. Carefully focusing on the question. Now, when I'm focusing on your research question, then there will be either a single idea, okay, or a phenomenon in front of me, or a concept in front of me. You know, so either looking, or I would even go ahead, put another slash event, I would say, or I can even put a slash a film, a drama, a theater, a situation in front of you. So these are all the different options that you have got, and then you proceed further. As I told you, you can pick up a company's website and you can look at their event gallery. Now in the events, there are photographs are there, interviews are there, videos are present. Now looking at all those things, I'm pretty sure we will do it as an exercise tomorrow on the spot, and I will show you, looking at each one of these things, you can really come up with a lot of things. Similarly, with the reports which are being flashed across the companies, and nobody is going to stop you and say, hey, why did you use these kind of a reports? We will see how to analyze them also side by side. Now that is entirely a different thing that we have got under the textual analysis in the form of the content analysis, thematic analysis. I mean, I'll show you how many different varieties of analysis are present for us, and we can even look into them also side by side. Now, in the same manner, writing a research aim. This is the way in which, for example, I don't know how many of you have been given a training in your MPhil foundation or the PhD foundation level studies, or the course, I would say, wherein they teach you or train you how to write an objective, how to write a research question. Now, here, when you are doing a qualitative research, you are supposed to know, for example, to use a verb, you know, to characterize, to describe, to understand, to know, to find out, all these things would be coming in. To identify the topic of interest. Okay, so you are focusing either a topic of interest, situation, event, a function, an operation, any thing that you are, I mean, you're attracted towards to. That is what you need to identify. Non-directional neutral language. What does this mean? It means that you are not giving away completely open kind of a thing. You have to be very neutral in your language and say that, yes, this is what I want to find out. It's as simple, and we will see, I'll be showcasing to you that particular slide also. And be as precise as possible. You have to be exactly telling us that, yes, this is what. For example, let's say you want to study the nature of the leadership affecting the employee. I would say that it is very general one. So you can grill yourself further, and you will say, I want to study authoritarian leadership having an impact on employees, let's say professional life. I would say just professional life, that it's not a good work. Then you can still further modify it, and you will say to study the features of the toxic leadership having an impact on, or something, you know, with their professional life and the personal life imbalances. So you are drilling further and further yourself and making it as absolutely precise for yourself. Now, for example, this has been taken from these two books. One is by Dixon Woods et al. BMG. This is one of the popular journal that we have got in 2006. What have they written? Let's read out very carefully. To explore the views of women who received a leaflet summarizing the findings of the trials in pregnancy in which they had participated. Okay, now if I have to go further and be more precise, which place, which hospital, okay, and which duration, what was the age group, those things also would be coming in for me. Okay, whether this was taken care by the doctor or by nurses, even those things also have to be added. Similarly, let's see the next one, Weger and Williams, BMG 2013, to understand. Now this is from the side of the journalism and mass communication, to understand journal editors and publishers views on trial registration and publication bias. Now, if I have to go further, I would even say they're talking about the publishers, then I would say that views on trial registration and publication biasness in, let's say, Times of India and Hindustan Times for the years, last 5 years or past 10 years. If I make it further clear in the city of Benares or in the city of Kolkata, in the city of this one, or I would say to understand this one between two cities. So those would be the appropriate ones, because I have become more precise in my research question. To describe and classify the components of the burden of treatment for patients with chronic conditions from the patient's perspective. Now, in the hospital, which year, which area are they talking about? Is it in India or is it in some other country? Those things also needs to be taken care of, you know, and unless and until you don't do it. And number one, those philosophical assumptions, dash narrative study, dash a discourse, a descriptive study, an interpretive analysis, those things, or a content analysis, you know, you can say a thematic analysis, those kind of a things you're supposed to take care of out here, and then go ahead. Now they're saying that in the first case, for example, they're talking about a leaflet. Now why is it that we are not analyzing the leaflet itself? So it would be like, if I'm doing the analysis, it can be content analysis, it can be thematic analysis, it can be let's say visual analysis of the leaflet. So these kind of a things we can take care of it when we are doing the qualitative analysis. Now, again, these are a few more questions that we have got. Now, see the last one. Now they are saying to characterize barriers. Just look at the length of the question. To characterize barriers to total abstinence among male heroin users who are currently enrolled into indefinite methadone treatment program led by NGO Susret in Split, Croatia. For me, it is still incomplete. I would say which year they have to mention. Is it in the past 5 years, past 10 years? Those things also they should be able to take care. Then it will become a proper research question for me. Now, this is not the objective. Remember that. What is the difference between the objectives? When we will study quantitative, then I might be able to let you know. Because remember, in qualitative research, I told you there are two ways in which I am proceeding further. Either if I am taking care, if this is a fresh study, it's a first time study for me, so obviously I will not get any review of literature for this one. So this becomes a research question for me. However, if I have done, after this particular research question I have completed, I proceed, I do review of literature, then you know, I can identifying and recognizing the important I would say the missing gaps or the missing links, I derive what I call it as the objectives. Is that clear? I hope this thing is now clear. If somebody tomorrow asks you what is a research question, okay, irrespective of the fact whether it is going to be a qualitative or a quantitative, you should be able to know that yes, when you are doing a first time study in the qualitative research area and you are putting them in this manner, it would be called as. Okay, so this is something that we all should know. Planning, designing, one more thing, selecting a sample, this is one more thing that yes, you will, for example, you know, Split, Croatia is the sample that they're talking about. Still for me that will not be, because I have to specify, and that's why I was telling you the name of the hospital has to be specified, and how many patients or how many individuals were existing, how many only interviews. Once we complete with the interviews, you will be entering into that, and then I would be talking about the sample size, and I do not want to go ahead and discuss about it at this level. Now, these are the approaches that they're talking about. The most important one is interviews, focus groups, we have got observations, and that is the reason I always give a lot of importance to observations, whether it is qualitative or quantitative. And tomorrow, hopefully I'll be able to focus on observations and see how they are very much important. Textual data, now apart from this, I don't know why I haven't mentioned, you will see that apart from these things, we have got images, then pictures, films are there, videos are there, audios are present, blogs are there for you, vlogs are there, then YouTube videos are present. So approaches, you can take a lot of them and you can carry forward. These are not the only one, these are just the common approaches which we will be finding it out being used in various research, I should say studies basically. Otherwise, you have got a lot of them. For example, they have talked about textual data, variety of them are there, surveys, stories, diaries, documents are there, like they are taking care in the case of Sushant Rajput. So a lot of things are available, and we will see as to how to proceed. Even maps also become your qualitative research. Now, for example, in geographical studies, especially on the planets, now obviously planets we don't have, so the ones that are being taken nowadays with the help of the 3D pictures. I was just studying something yesterday because I had to answer certain questions. So at that time I could see that Venus, when they're talking about super Jupiters, when they're talking about, I was amazed to see that, yes, which I somehow missed it, the entire image of it was captured, and I could see it as a live one, how the Jupiter moons were revolving, and why there is a difference between the Jupiter moons as well as the Saturn moons. And they say that the density and mass is same, so why the difference in rotation comes in. So these things are coming to us only through those images or the photographs, which are the live images, I would say, which are available and you can understand. So is the case with the if you know a little bit of the importance of visual and pictorial representations that you get, you can do wonderful digital stories also for yourself. Now, for example, if I have to study about the local markets, now in Australia, local markets are very important. When I say the local markets, I'm not talking about the malls or the shops. I'm talking about the farmers who bring in their products into the city, which they identify as a local market, and they are selling their products. Now, since I also reside in Greater Noida, I see that there are a lot of farmers who bring in their vegetables and fruits and they sell it to the I should say general public who is there. And then on the map, if you look up through the help of certain designing which you can do in MS Excel 2016 onwards, 2013 onwards, you can make those heat maps and those maps which are available, and you can see the complete research is being done through the geographical studies, especially the students who come from geography. And I was amazed to find out that research has come to that level wherein a student can draw or create their own maps. For example, if I have to study, let's say the areas of Delhi where pandemic is more. Now, you can see the news channel, they'll be flashing those maps in front of you, wherein with the numbers, they are speaking to you saying that in this area, let's say Gita Colony, so many death has taken place, or in that particular, how do you think they're doing it? Because of certain things. So all these things are necessary, and they are part of your qualitative research itself. Then I would say that apart from this thing, qualitative conversations are necessary. You should be a natural speaker, or a very good speaker, in which, and the writer also, definitely. And that's the reason why we always prefer, and we tell them that yes, if you are entering into qualitative research, then try to be a very good conversationalist, wherein you are able to talk a lot, and capture yourself a lot of data which can be useful. For example, capturing individual perspectives, like if you're talking to let's say 10. Now, for example, this was another one of my MBA student had to study the effect of Horlicks on in one of the villages in Gurugram. Now I said, in Gurugram, Horlicks, you want to say? He took that experiment and he went over there, and he found that it was very difficult to speak to the ladies who are pregnant. So they had to separately call them and then discuss, do you drink milk? If yes, then just the milk, or do you add something else? Now, if you're adding something else, do you add even Horlicks or not? So, there are, and if they're talking to the senior women, when I talk about senior women, I mean women who are above 50 years or 60 years, you talk to them and tell them, ask them. So, they say that in one go, they will not. Whereas in urbans, all cities also, when you are interviewing or talking, you will see that in the first go, it becomes very difficult, unless and until you're very good at your customer building skills, I would say, rapport building skills. Similarly, sensitive topics. Obviously, I cannot go ahead now in the companies, especially we see that where men and women are working together. If the boss is male, then a female team member, it will be very difficult for her to go ahead and talk about sensitive issues, certain which let's say that she wants to speak about certain things and she's unable to speak to the manager. However, if it is a female, I know when I was working in Genpact, some of my female team members, they used to come on the first day, thank you ma'am, you are our manager. I said, why thank you? Why you were not happy? Because I wanted to find out about the previous thing so that I can change myself. Then they said, no ma'am, it's easier because you are a female and it becomes easier to talk about that womanish talk. Then I just looked at them. I said, what kind of a womanish talk are you talking about? So, the more you grill, you are able to understand that, yes, there are certain sensitive topics which you cannot talk to a male manager when it comes to the team members. So there are other things also which are available, like a man is there, a youth is there. Obviously, if he's smoking, he cannot smoke in front of a female manager. So he might feel very uncomfortable with me. However, if he had a male manager who smokes, and both of them, they can go to the smoking corner. In every multinational company, we have those smoking zones where they can go, they can discuss a lot. So it becomes easier for them to build the rapport and discuss certain things. So these are the various ways in which you can also look into it. Situations where there is perceived danger of reprisal. Now, this is also something very important, that sometimes being a female, you cannot go. Now, for example, when I was working in an insurance company, and one of my team member, who was again a female, she was sent to get the insurance deals, and then she said that, ma'am, she came back in the evening with tears in her eyes. I said, what happened? Then she said that, ma'am, when I was asking him that, sir, I can meet you next time and we can close the deal, the man asked me, what else can you give it to me apart from selling your insurance product? And ma'am, just see, he asked me this question in front of so many other males. So I said, so why do you have to feel bad about it? You could have answered him. Then he said, ma'am, how can I answer such a cheap question he was asking me? So I can understand that, yes, he had the bad intention. I said, place a call. And then I had to let her know that, yes, sir, I'm going to give you something else also. Why don't you meet me on so-and-so date at so-and-so time? Now, you see, these are the perceived dangers. Sometimes when you are taking the interviews, it becomes very difficult. Now, how to handle those situations also is very important for us. Gathering in-depth information about a topic. Now, this is very important. And sometimes we are very lucky to get the information. Like like in the string operations which Arnab is doing it right now, catching hold of certain people and then finding it out more information about the death of Sushant Singh Rajput. So, you know, in qualitative, these kind of things do come up and we are supposed to know. Now, generating the narrative data, you see, these are the further ways in which we can go further. And the moment I'll be discussing with you on focus groups, I will be discussing it, not right now. Observations, yes, it is very important. Today itself, I'm giving you an homework right now, so that tomorrow, when you are back to me, I want each one of you to come up, and we will be doing it right at the beginning, a short story. I wouldn't say a story, an experience of yours while you were in the field, and you know, something which you cannot forget in your life. I just want that information from each one of you tomorrow when you are coming to me, and we would be able to discuss certain things also side by side. And that is one homework I would be giving to you, and I would appreciate if each one of you will proceed further, and we would be interacting with each other with that discussion in view with us. Now, I am going to end this particular presentation giving some kind of a feeling to you about what is qualitative research all about, and I'm sharing a lot of study material again. And with this particular homework, I want you to come back. And now I think each one of you can just unmute yourself, and let's say I have Abhishek Sharma at the top of the list. You can unmute yourself, Abhishek, and you can just let me know, you know, what is your background, and tell me something little bit about yourself.
Good evening, ma'am.
Yeah. Hi. Good evening,
It was
Abhishek.
really a it was really a nice presentation. We have come to know lots of things about qualitative research. Ma'am, I'm from Himachal Pradesh. I'm doing my PhD from Lovely Professional University. And actually, I have a question from you to ask.
Okay.
My search topic is a public distribution system. Okay, and I'm at the very beginning stage of my research, and in that objective, in one of my objective, I have objective that I have to interview department officials. Okay, food
Department
and
of?
cooperation department officials. I have to interview department official. PDS comes under the Department of Food and Cooperation of Himachal Pradesh. So I'm going to interview them. Uh, I'm going to I'm going to ask them that what they think about the current scenario of PDS. How can we add some, how government can add something to it. So the size of sample size that I have decided is 12. So my question is that in qualitative research, does the respondent size matter? Like in quantitative, we must have at least 30 respondent size to analyze our work. So so my question is, in qualitative, does it matter that is respondent size?
Yeah.
Until now, I know that I'm going to apply content analysis, and I'm going to take their interviews. Like I have selected 12 officials. Like I've decided to take their interviews. So this is my question. So does respondent size matter in qualitative research?
See, today I have not yet introduced to you, you know, different ways in which the qualitative research can be done. There is another side of the qualitative research which, you know, takes up these issues very carefully. Now, it totally depends, let's say, as to how you are, which, first of all, which design are you opting for. Hopefully tomorrow I'll be introducing to you, and sample size does matter to us,
Okay.
and we will see if you are falling under that particular category, then you will have to take the sample size very seriously. However, if you are choosing the research design in a different manner altogether, then the sample size will not matter. So I would appreciate if you can just wait till tomorrow evening, and I will show it to you as to which research design requires what kind of sample size, and how it is going to be helpful for you in creating those interviews also side by side, so that you are able to focus on the sample size things and then proceed further. Okay.
Sure, ma'am.
Now,
Sure, ma'am. I'm very
since you
curious
have
to know about it.
already used the word objective, which means that, I don't know, again, somebody guided you for the qualitative research, or is it all by yourself that you're coming in? However, today I have made it very clear at the beginning, if you are, then, you should start off with the research questions, number one. Number two, if you are proceeding further on the other line, wherein you have collected good number of qualitative research papers focusing on the research question that you have got, then you are able to proceed further with the objectives. So, you have to be very clear about it, Abhishek, and I don't want you to be dwindling between these things and carry a wrong message. So, you have to make it very clear to me that, yes, Ramani ma'am, I have certain, let's say around 35 to 40 research papers focusing exclusively on the research question that you're dealing with, and you have somehow analyzed it, coded them, or manually you have done that also, I'm not asking you, then you have come up with the objectives. Okay.
Sure, ma'am. Sure. Actually, can I say something? Like, I have got this idea after after listening to you. Actually, in previous thesis, they have used quantitatively. They have analyzed this. Like, they have made questionnaire, structured questionnaire, and they have asked the officials. Means through questionnaire, they are just asking. They ask them, and they just fill it themselves. But after listening to you, like you said that qualitative research papers means through qualitative research paper we can actually make very good research. So now I'm planning that I can write a research paper based on qualitative data. Like
Yes.
I am taking their, yes ma'am, questionnaires, I am asking them, but now I'm thinking that I will take their interviews, and through that I will write a research paper. At least I can write
Now,
a
you
research paper
see,
in
for
previous.
each and every question of your questionnaire, Abhishek, you can write
Yes.
a nice case study for each and every question I'm talking about. You see,
Okay.
tomorrow, once I complete with my session, then you can again raise this concern that, yes, this is the approach that I'm taking up, and I don't want to ask you right now. However, this much I can tell
Sure.
you, that for each and every statement, because that statement has been arrived either by conducting certain interviews or through the reviews that you have taken care of. If you have taken the reviews very seriously and you have read, or you have interviewed and then you have combined both of them to arrive at that particular statement also, you can write a wonderful paper, I'm telling you, about 2000 to 2500 words, and you can publish it immediately. Because you see, when you're writing the qualitative papers, publishing the paper becomes much more easier as compared to the quantitative research. So, I would say that choice is yours, how you want to go. Just wait till tomorrow, and then I will be asking you whether you have followed one or one of the steps that I'm talking about. Okay. Thank you,
Sure,
Abhishek.
ma'am. Sure.
I have
Okay, ma'am.
Ankita
Thank you.
Lohia now. Ankita, can you tell me a little bit about yourself also, please? Are you there, Ankita?
Good evening, ma'am.
Hi, Ankita. Good evening. How are you?
Yeah, ma'am, I'm fine. Thank you. How are you?
Now, can you tell me as to what prompted you for this particular workshop? Is it out of curiosity, or are you also working and you want to find the direction for your research? What is it?
Yeah, ma'am. Actually, I'm pursuing PhD. I'm in an initial stage of my research.
Okay.
So I know something about like at least some of the points about quantitative, but I don't know about the qualitative. So I was interested in knowing about qualitative data. So that's why I joined this workshop, and it was very nice, ma'am. Like I got to know many things from this.
Okay, fine. Then I have with me Abhishek is done, Ankita is done. Anubha, would you like to say something about your interest towards this particular workshop?
Yes, ma'am. A very good evening to you and all the participants. Actually, I've taken up a topic in marketing analytics for my PhD research proposal. That's why I'm interested in the qualitative methodology of research.
All right, fine, good. So you will be getting a lot of inputs for yourself in that case. Then I have got Indrajit Pandey. Yes, Indrajit, can you tell me something about yourself and what prompted you towards this particular workshop?
Yes, ma'am. Good evening, all. Good evening to you, ma'am. It was a very lovely session. I'm Injit Pandey. I was born, brought up in Kolkata, and then I did my paramedical from Chennai SM University. I also did my research work there and was a gold medalist for my research work. Post that, I worked in a multinational company, Aberdeen. They are now performing my MBA from Symbiosis. And while I was trying to do a research project there, my faculty members told me you can probably understand the terminologies because probably for the last 3 years I was a little bit apart from medical academics. So to have a better understanding about the research methodologies, they asked me to get a better understanding. So probably that's the reason I'm here. And I think the very first session I got a lot of knowledge and empowered here. So looking forward for the other session too.
Thank you, Indrajit, and you're most welcome. And I hope so that yes, you will be given a lot of introduction to the topics. Today was just an introduction of it. From tomorrow onwards, you will see a lot of. It would be a bit heavier one, and you'll be wondering that yes, even in qualitative, so many things are available for us. Okay. Now, Mr. Ravi Prakash, is he there right now? Hi, Ravi. Ravi, are you there? Ravi Prakash. Okay. I cannot see him. Is he present? Oh, he's not available. Okay. After him, I have got Suraj Kumar. Hi, Suraj. Are you there? Suraj also is not available. I think he's also not responding. Yes, Yasmin Ansari. I have got one more person out here. Yasmin.
Yes, ma'am. Good evening.
Good evening, Yasmin. Tell me, how are you?
I'm fine.
Okay, so tell me what brings you to this particular workshop, Yasmin?
Yeah, actually, I'm researching nowadays on all these things, quantitative research or qualitative research. So to expand my knowledge, or you can say my understanding about these topics, I have joined this workshop. And it is really nice to have on this board.
Yes, I'm pretty sure that qualitative research, very few workshops are taken up. And if you are there, definitely, yes, you will be getting a lot of introductions and everything. Now, I just want to showcase to you some of the material that I have collected for all of you, which I'll be sharing it. And I, on a daily basis, will be giving to you this kind of homework like I have given to you today. Go back and just within 1500 words, if you are able to write to me a memorable experience of yours. It can be in any direction, however it has to be a real one, maybe from a company, or choose yours, spiritual direction, your observation on Facebook, or let's say Sushant Singh Rajput's case. You make a choice all by yourself, whatever you want to, and just write a small thing for me and come back tomorrow. And in another 5 to 10 minutes, Gokul, I'll be sending you the material which can be shared with all the participants. Okay, and that is your homework. And Gokul, you are also there right now?
Yes, ma'am, I'm there.
Okay, sorry, I did not ask you. So you should also tell me what prompted you for this workshop, apart from your administrative works.
Yes, ma'am. I'm just very new to this field of research and all, right? So the first reason and the foremost reason is that of curiosity as to what is it, how to do things. like how to perform any research, or how what are the actual steps one should take. Say, actually, it's very premature for me since I'm not even a net qualified yet, but still, it's a kind of curiosity which is urging me to keep forward. Other thing is, ma'am, the type of research which I wish to undertake is that of majorly that of a qualitative research. Like
Okay.
it's from the ocean side, it's from everything, something of that sort. So these are the two major reasons.
Right, cool, good. Now, I mean, I really wanted to know from each one of you what is your background also. But anyways, that I'll be asking you tomorrow when again you're
Excuse me,
going to
ma'am.
share.
Suraj Kumar wants to ask some question to you.
Suraj Kumar, okay, please, Suraj Kumar, allow me to speak. Yes, Suraj Kumar, please, I called out your name. You're most welcome to speak. Yes, tell me.
Yeah. Hi, very good evening, ma'am.
Good evening, Suraj.
Yeah, ma'am, currently I'm working with Jharkhand Tourism as a district consultant, and I work for infrastructure development in the districts that I have given for. And my background is tourism management from Banaras Hill University. And so currently what I'm working is with the tourism department here. And I have an interest in research and want to pursue the PhD as well. So what basically I have interest in is the livelihood and community. So out of curiosity, I want to enrich my knowledge in research. So definitely it was a great session with you, and I got to know a lot of things about the qualitative research today.
Yes, Suraj, I think qualitative research has a lot of role to play in the tourism and hospitality sector. Let me tell you that though I'm not from the tourism and hospitality sector, however, I find that there is so much of work in terms of the qualitative research in that particular domain. It can be on food stories. I mean, I don't know. The list is such a huge one that without getting,
Yes.
trained into that area, I keep reading a lot of study material in the form of articles or the books,
Yes.
and I keep writing. The one that I was sharing on the markets
Yes.
of Australia, the local farmers market, is from geographical this thing. Then urban cities is again one more area which I'm focusing on, the smart cities, whether the smart city is really good. For example,
Yeah.
Dubai is known to be a smart city, and in India, very few places are there which
Exactly.
are still not recognized. However, as compared to Dubai, Riyadh, I myself was involved into that research, so I can understand how much of qualitative research had to go into it in order to understand. We had to train some of the localites,
Yes.
especially from real estate industry, then food industry. For example, during the Ramzan month, that they have huge food gathering in the
Mhm.
form of iftari, in the evening, and the way they display the food is
Yes. Yes.
marvelous. And I myself got a shock of my life. I said, this is all for free and they're going to eat so much of it. And then I realized it, the kind of analysis that went into it with respect to qualitative was amazing for us. So you can learn a lot, and you can really put into, I don't know whether you have completed with your PhD or not. However, I would say that yes, if you are, you can take this domain
No.
to be very serious one. Though in the next 4 or 5 days which I'm going to take it up, I'm going to give you
Okay.
as an introduction. Though I will not be able to enter into the depth of it. However, you are not supposed to lose your zeal. Whatever I have given to you, please proceed further, and it would be quite useful for you, Suraj. Yes. I can see Mr. Ravi Prakash.
Okay.
Yes, I think Ravi, you
Thank
can
you.
also tell me something about yourself.
Uh, First of all, ma'am, congratulations for a brilliant lecture. Firstly, I must tell you that I have logged in from my husband's laptop,
Okay, I'm
and
so
that's why
sorry.
that's why it's showing Ravi Prakash. Otherwise, my name is Dr. Nimisha Gupta.
Okay, hi.
I'm associate professor in the Department of Social Work at Mahatma Gandhi Kashi Vidyapeeth, Varanasi.
Wow.
And I'm teaching this paper of social work research and statistics. Actually, the motive behind joining this course was getting oriented towards qualitative research. Till now, what we were teaching our students was just quantitative research. The dissertations, the PhD thesis which we were doing with them were all quantitative research studies. So now, being a teacher of social work research, I wanted to focus on qualitative aspect of research, because social work is a field of is a field science. You can call it a field science. So we interact with lot of people, and based on their experiences and interactions, we interpret so many things for our discipline, for our subject. So in this aspect, qualitative research is very important for me. So I wanted to learn what the basics of what is qualitative research and how do we go through this process, qualitative research. That was the motive for joining the course.
Yes, ma'am.
So thank you so much.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you. You're most welcome, ma'am. In fact, since you said that you are from the social work department, let me share a part of my other work also. I have, given a lot of lectures, taken workshops, especially for the, the different schools in foreign countries focusing on social work. They call it different names have been given to them, and it's not unlike my country. And I have seen that those individuals, the students also, apart from studying from day one, they have to be in the field work, as you have said. And their field work is, let's say, if they are focusing on their studies is focused on what I call it as the senior citizens, especially the women who have lost their memory, and they have these services. They approach the social working institutes, wherein the student is they approach the NGO, or the company approaches the university asking them that, yes, can you please send us one of your student who can help the lady who has lost the memory. However, she wants the help that she should be taken to the local doctor, number one, then bring her back. She cannot walk properly, she doesn't remember how to use the lift and to go ahead. And okay, this is one part of the story. The other part of the story is that the students are encouraged to earn the extra earnings. I'm talking about the social institutes and colleges in UK especially. And they take the person says very clearly, I'm a single person, I'm staying in age, what do you call them, old age home, and I want to see a movie, so can somebody guide me? And they want to eat, let's say, a pizza, or they want to dine outside, so they are looking for somebody to escort them, take them, and they are paid, ma'am. And it has become such a serious research for them as to understand as to who is doing wrong, whether going to that particular person who, let's say, the 60-year-old woman or a man who is unable to go all alone for such things, or they want to buy a shirt, or some social working agencies, I have seen that they go to the cancer hospitals so that they are developing some kind of a CSR activity during let's say Christmas, or they have these Thanksgiving functions which are, or Halloween functions that they come across, ma'am. And I have seen thanks that yes, you are here for them. I take a lot of research workshops in terms of how to develop those ways in which they are interacting with them. So I think I should start giving you those examples also in this particular workshop, and I welcome you all also, ma'am, out here. And this would be really a good one to you, because through phenomenology you would be able to understand not only the mental states of the people with whom you're working, though I will not be focusing here on I would say the patients exclusively. However, qualitative started off in the medicinal schools or socio-psychological schools. Now when I say socio, I'm talking about the social networking schools only, ma'am, the kind of thing that you're talking about. And the thing has become such a rigorous and robustic one in UK, that the universities are real, even in Australia, these are the two countries which are really focusing on these studies. And they wanted us to make them understand, one particular part of the qualitative research is, again, what we call it as the descriptivism, interpretivism, discourse analysis, narrative analysis, and operationalism. These are the 5 schools which really focuses on how to interact, and what is the use of the language, what kind of actions has to be taken care of, and these kind of things. And if you will see the papers, and sometimes I wonder, they have to be so careful while dealing with these kind of individuals. So I think in that way, ma'am, you are at the right place, I should say. And definitely, yes, though let me see, sometimes I keep connecting things, because see, Gokul, I know very well that he's working in geography. Anubha, I know she's from the marketing, so I'm able to take care. So in this manner, like Ankush is there, Ayush, sorry, he is from journalism, mass communication. So and even yoga, he keeps focusing. So these areas are the ones. That's why I thought today, after completing the session, I should interact with each of you, so that these examples would be pretty useful. So thank you for giving me that information. I'll be sharing some of the material and giving you the examples as to how qualitative can be used towards that direction also, ma'am. You're most welcome. I think with this, let's end today's session today. And again, tomorrow, I'll be there sharp at 5:45 if Gokul opens the channel for all of us, otherwise 6 o'clock. And then before that, I gave you a small homework. If you don't want to present it, at least for the sake of yours, you should do these exercises, and hands-on experience would be very good. And I'm mailing the study material right away to Gokul, and Gokul will be sharing it. With that, I'm ending up today's session. Good night, safe, happy living, and a happy night also. Till tomorrow. Take care. Bye.
Thank you all for attending and being so patient, and special thanks to Ramani ma'am for giving this wonderful lecture. And well, let's meet tomorrow, and I hope for a better
Yes.
and more interactive session tomorrow.
Of course, yes. Thank you. Thanks a lot, Gokul. Take care. Bye. Bye, all of you.